And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans, trying to tell you, Kiata Mundi Conets, and all of you clones that aren't clones in CG's eyes. Welcome to another episode of Arnold Holiday News. The only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. My friends, it is 4 years in the making. We've been asking for this for a long time, ever since the first Bad Batch was born into Star Wars Galaxy Heroes existence. We have the Crosshair Scarred kit reveal coming in late on a Monday night. Again, the kit reveal schedule is completely off the rails now. I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna have a good, grand old time. Come on over, let's chat about this new kit. Now, reminder, even though we're getting the kit reveal tonight, we're not getting this character until next week on March 11th. Okay. There was a system, and I don't know what the system is anymore. They're kind of just like throwing it out of nowhere. Anyways, the final piece to the new Bad Batch crew. So far, up until this point, we are 4 Bad Batch members in. Largely, the impression is this team is kind of a skippable team, maybe minus Omega. She's great. Wrecker is actually pretty interesting inside of a Balin Skull lineup, but collectively, I'm not sure how they fit into the game. Well, Crosshair is going to be bringing a lot of what appears to be damage, baby, and also to boot, they know you guys like Grand Arena, right? We have another Grand Arena Omicron, so we'll have to wait and see. Is this team completely skippable? Will Crosshair be able to salvage this into something that's really useful in Kyber 1 at least? Because right now, there's no legendary attached to them, no special event attached to them. So most likely, I think the overall advice a lot of people have been taking is just, maybe hoard your resources and wait till we get into that Jedi Vanguard, maybe Revenge of the Sith type of stuff. Well, let's go take a look at the Crosshairless Scarred kit reveal. I still wish we got the season 1 Bad Batch Crosshair, maybe a Clone Wars season 7 Crosshair. This is the one we're getting, and you're gonna like it. No clone tag. Again, we don't get to bring that whole conversation up. I think it's pretty obvious why they're not giving them the clone tag. They don't want us using it as much with the old Bad Batch crew, having fun of other clone-related teams out there. It's very much so Bad Batch or bust, and there's no mercenary tag on this guy, which makes sense. I understand why there's no mercenary tag, but I think they're going a little too far and not putting the clone trooper tag on him. All right. Anyways, a deadly sharpshooter who deals significant damage. The final piece of the kernel for the new Bad Batch squad. Crosshair Scar benefits immensely from having more target practice stacks, as he gets rid of a new status event called Shaken Amongst the Gods. When Elvis Presley was singing that song, he was recalling the scarred mechanic on Crosshair. It's funny how these guys, they have this foresight. I don't think they even knew what they were saying when they were singing it. So let's go. I want to go quickly. Oh, actually, one other thing. Let's just say if you're planning on wailing on this guy, make sure you wail down the other ones, because apparently for the Crosshair Scarred event, Omega Fugitive, Bad Batch Hunter Mercenary, Wrecker Mercenary will be required to enter Crosshair Scarred event in the Tier 2 at any investment level, and at Tier 7, they're going to be required at Relic 5. Woo. So you might need a little bit of moolah if you want to get to that last tier. But anyways, let me go straight to the Scarred mechanic because it's going to help give some context as to what it's about. Shaken. Minus 10% accuracy. This effect persists through defeat. So let's go take a little gander at the kit. It's fairly simple-ish, but what it seems like it's gonna be giving us a lot of damage. So we have a hit or a miss, and that's what we're wondering. Is this team gonna be a hit or a miss? I agree with you, Crosshair. Deal physical damage to target enemy 3 times. Inflict them with defense down for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. And if this attack misses, expose them for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. So again, I believe the defense down portion is it can't be evaded or resisted, but the damage could maybe be evaded still. Again, we gotta it's gonna be a little odd because we're gonna have a lot of reduced accuracy at the very start. Actually, let me go back to one other thing to give more context about this whole Shaken thing. Let's actually start with the unique ability. I think it's gonna translate to be a bit clearer as we look at the other things in this kit. It's in my head. In my head. Man, look at all these references here. At the start of the battle, Crosshair Scarred is going to get 200% defense. Gnarly, right? For 3 turns. And is inflicted with 20 stacks of Shaken, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. So, minus 10% accuracy times 20. Well, that's a lot of reduced accuracy if you ask me. Whenever Crosshair Scarred gains a stack of target practice, which is going to be kind of the core theme of this team, he removes 1 stack of Shaken and gains 15% turn meter. That, my friends, is kind of a big deal with this team. We're already seeing target practice be kind of the focal point for this team. They get it fairly easily, so that's a lot of Terminator. It's going to be pumped through him passively. So keep in mind, I know we're like looking for something big to really sell this team. That right there is kind of a big deal. Whenever all stacks of Shaken are removed, Crosshair's card dispels all debuffs on himself, takes a bonus turn. And we're going to read the rest of the kit in a moment to understand why this bonus turn's important. And then he gains 100% accuracy while targeting a marked enemy, which is giving a little bit of context why mark is important, because, well, there's a variety of mark mechanics going on through all these kits, but here it's important because we need this guy to kind of hit. So you really want to be focusing on the mark, and that's kind of the main theme. You know, we look at mark as sort of a traffic cone. You know, you're navigating around the field. It's like that, but the mark, for the most part, you just want to go all in on the mark character, whether it's a tank, whatever it might be, because we want to get the target practice. We want to get all these other effects. So that's why it's important. And here, we want to be able to land our hits. And furthermore, if there are no galactic legends, this is a big deal. Crosshair Scarred's attacks ignore protection. Not too many characters out there get the benefit of ignoring protection. If you can just completely bypass that, most teams, they're like, yes, there are some that helps support, but a lot of teams, it's that protection that really adds a lot of oomph to the team. Just completely ignore that, go right under. And you know what this tells me? We already kind of saw this. If you remember some of our early tests, we saw that the Bad Batch, the current one, they're at the point where they can kind of go toe-to-toe with the Gungans. This, if you're able to ignore protection, well, that's kind of a big deal for the Gungans, right? Should be some quick, easy kills potentially if you're looking for another way to kind of take care of the Gungan batch out there. And then the Grand Arena. While in Grand Arena and there are no galactic legends, when we have the Omicron, whenever Crosshair Scarred is inflicted with the debuff, check it, my friends. He dispels it and gains 5% offense, stacking up to a max of 100%. So he can hypothetically basically double his offense. Again, we don't know what that base number is, but let's just say for fun, he's got like 10,000%, 10,000 offense. You can see how this can scale up quite drastically for one turn. So, and then whenever a Bad Batch ally with target practice use the special ability, Crosshair Scarred is going to be assisting. And remember, he can ignore protection. So you're seeing, he's sort of like, in a way, the Omega. You just follow me for a second. He's sort of like the Omega of this lineup compared to the old one, where he's going to constantly be assisting. Kind of a big deal. So having debuffs on your team is a good thing. It's gonna ramp up his damage. All right, but now that we understand that we're gonna have 20 stacks of Shaken, what it does and why his unique ability is nice, now I think we can kind of come back and revisit this. So basic hit or miss, we're gonna inflict the defense down, for which can't be evaded or resisted. And remember, he can deal damage to the target enemy 3 times. And if this attack misses, because he might have, well, let's say 20 stacks of Shaken, which means 200% reduced accuracy, you're gonna expose them for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Fun note, side note, I don't know how important it's gonna be. Do you guys think accuracy arrows could make any impact on this? I don't think it's gonna be important, because we're gonna have ways of getting Shaken off, but food for thought while we kind of mull over this for the next week and a half, or that next week or so, until we get a hold of this character. I will handle it. Cooldown of 3. This is in reference to him saying, I will make this team better. See, look, he's talking to us. Deal physical damage to target enemy, dealing 10% more damage for each relic amplifier level on Crosshair Scarred. They've been doing this a lot lately. I feel like it's not a very creative kit thing. It's more to incentivize you to go above and beyond. Because if you have, well, let's say 9 relics, that's 90% damage. On top of all the other stuff that we talked about, him ignoring protection, there's the defense down. His offense can ramp up with that Omicron on the unique ability. Then you can call a target Bad Batch ally to assist, dealing 50% more damage. Let's give some credit where credit's due. You know, a lot of times when you call someone to assist, it's like, oh, you deal 50% less damage. No, deal 50% more damage. So maybe we could see ourselves getting Batcher becoming a little bit more useful, because right now Batcher, it's supposed to be like damage dealer, and it kind of is. This could maybe help out. Try to get Batcher to put out a little bit more damage. And if Crosshair Scarred was the target ally, you could target yourself as an ally, right? He is not called to assist, and instead removes 6 stacks of Shaken from himself and stuns the target enemy for 1 turn. It's sort of like you have that trade-off with like Jedi Master Kenobi. You could target someone else to assist and there's benefits, but if you target Master Kenobi himself, he can maybe get that ultimate charge moving a little bit faster, right? So there's a big benefit for him targeting himself. This might be the way to go about at the beginning. Let's get rid of Shaken. We get a stun. The stun could be resisted, however, but check this out right now. If the ally Omega Fugitive is in the leader slot and the target enemy took damage from a Bad Batch ally's attack on the previous return, you're going to reduce the cooldown of target secured by 1 turn. The second special ability, unfortunately, I know a lot of people were hoping and praying that we were going to get like an insta kill. We're not getting an insta kill explicitly, but when you read this and you total this with all the other stuff that we went over so far, this could be a really big hit that might be insta kill-ish, right? I'm trying to be a little optimistic here. Crosshair Scarred's gonna gain 200% critical damage until the end of his turn. First line, right there. Yeah, okay. And then furthermore, deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict armor shred. That was a very harsh shish sound we put out there. Inflict armor shred until the end of the encounter. We're not done yet though, hold on. This attack deals 50% more damage based on the number of turns taken by enemies. So almost kind of like a Seer Judah type thing, where the more turns the enemy takes, kind of the better for you. In Crosshair Scarred, before target secured is used again. Maximum of 500%. Another way of looking at this is sort of like an inverse Captain Rex, OG Rex, with the aerial advantage, more turns your clones take, the more damage aerial advantage can do. Sort of like that. But instead of based off max health, it's just raw damage. 50% more damage on the number of turns taken by enemies and Crosshair. I mean, what is that? 10 turns, baby? 10 turns before your target secured is used again? That's not that hard to get to, I think. This might be the prime target for Omega to keep reducing the cooldowns on, right? And then this attack can't be evaded. Big thumbs up. I hate when big abilities like Malgus, he's going in for the big dive and whoosh, dodge. It's like, oh, come on, seriously? And this attack can't be evaded and can't be used if Crosshair Scarred has Shaken. So you got to look at this sort of like, there's like a lot of different things you can kind of pull from inspiration. Kind of maybe like Mando, the first Mando. You got to get your contract payout before you can get the insta kill. Sort of like that. So we need to get Shaken off fast, which we've already went over through the sneak ability. Several ways of doing it. Anytime we're getting a stack of target practice, here moves one stack of Shaken and gains 50% turn. So you really want to make sure you're hammering down on those enemies consecutively. Get a lot of target practice. We saw how old OG Omega was able to get a lot of target practice, get some big damage. We want to carry that motto over here. And then furthermore, don't forget as well, he's able to reduce the stacks on himself through the I will handle it. So if you really want to get to this target secured as fast as possible, that's how you're going to want to do it. And again, it's not bad you got to wait. You sort of want to wait out a little bit. You want to get your target practice, reduce the cooldown or the Shaken through other methods, because you want to make sure you're ramping this up as much as possible. But man, let's just take all these things. This is like the back of like a chocolate chip cookie recipe. Let's look at all the stuff we're putting together here. 200% critical damage, 50% more damage on the number of turns taken by enemies. That could go up to 500%. Then you have things like, for example, defense down on that basic ability, right? Okay, but then don't forget as well, on that unique ability, we're getting 5% offense for each debuff he was inflicted with, and he dispels it. So you can see how this is turning out to be a pretty interesting package when it comes to damage. We gotta wait and see what the real damage is gonna look like here at the end. But although there's not an explicit insta kill, I can't help but imagine that we are gonna be landing big hits with this. So people, stay tuned. March 11th, we'll be testing out our video gaming division. I will say as a final note, as we start wrapping this era up for the Bad Batch, I'm hoping this team really gives us something that makes us see it. Man, I like this team. This is a really important team. Maybe it's a good thing if this team's kind of passive, so you guys can focus on some of the older stuff, or maybe focus on the new stuff coming up. Maybe this is like the resource drain team before we get into the Jedi Vanguards, new legendary. Fingers crossed. Hopefully Revenge of the Sith stuff. That's right around the corner. I do feel like this isn't quite the Crosshair people are hoping for, but it's great having it. Better late than never at this point, and we're gonna find out come next week if Crosshair and the gang they're going to be a serious team for us to keep our eyes peeled for. Until we meet again, my friends. Gary, where you going, man? No, I'm right over here. Yes. Until we meet again, my friends, this has been Arnold Holinet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Oh, it's great to be in the empty